Have you ever looked at your life, the job, the relationships, the carefully curated social media feed, and felt a strange, almost imperceptible hollowness? On the surface, everything seems fine. You're doing what you're supposed to do. You might even call yourself happy, or at least content. You follow the script society handed you. But late at night, when the noise of the day finally fades, does a different question creep in? A quiet, unsettling whisper. Is this all there is? You push it down, of course. Who wants to entertain such thoughts? It's easier to scroll, to binge watch, to plan the next distraction. But the feeling lingers, a subtle dis-ease beneath the veneer of normality. You see others, seemingly content in their routines, and wonder if you're the only one who feels this itch for something more, something real. If this resonates, know this: you are not alone. And, more importantly, that feeling isn't a sign that you're broken. It might just be a sign that you're starting to wake up. There was a philosopher, a Danish thinker named Søren Kierkegaard, who dared to look this modern malaise straight in the eye. And his diagnosis was brutal, unflinching, and perhaps the most liberating truth you'll hear today. He called it the sickness unto death, and he warned that its most dangerous form is the one that masquerades as a normal, even happy life. This isn't about a physical illness. It's a sickness of the soul, a profound despair that gnaws at the core of our being, often without us even realizing it. And, according to Kierkegaard, many of us are living in its deepest throes, precisely because we believe we are well. So, are you ready to question the very foundation of your contentment? Are you brave enough to discover if your pursuit of a normal life is, in fact, the deepest form of despair? Because what Kierkegaard reveals might shatter your illusions, but it could also be the only path to truly finding yourself. That's what we're going to explore. So, what is this sickness unto death? Kierkegaard is clear. It's despair. But not just any sadness. It's a fundamental misrelation in the self. And the most terrifying, most common form of this despair, he says, is the despair of not even knowing you are in despair. This is the despair of spiritlessness. Imagine someone completely absorbed in the mundane, the everyday. They chase promotions, buy the latest gadgets, follow trends, seek social approval. Their concerns are entirely external, focused on the finite, the tangible. They live as if they have no eternal self, no inner depth to cultivate or lose. They are, in Kierkegaard's terms, lost in the they, the anonymous crowd. They do what they do, think what they think, want what they want. This person might seem perfectly adjusted, even successful by societal standards. They might tell you they're happy, but Kierkegaard says this is the despair of oblivion. They are so far from recognizing their true spiritual self, their potential for an authentic existence, that they don't even feel the lack. Their contentment is built on a profound ignorance of who they truly are, or could be. It's like being terminally ill but feeling no symptoms, believing you are in perfect health. Why is this normality such a dangerous trap? Because it insulates you from the very discomfort that could lead to growth. It's a comfortable lie, a spiritual anesthetic that prevents you from asking the hard questions, from seeking a deeper meaning. You're too busy keeping up, fitting in, maintaining the facade. You've become a cog in the societal machine. Efficient, perhaps, but not truly alive. Kierkegaard believed that this spiritless existence, this unthinking conformity, is a betrayal of our human potential. Think about it. How much of your life is driven by unexamined assumptions about what constitutes success, happiness, or a good life? How often do you pause to ask if these goals are truly yours, or if you have simply inherited them from the crowd? This is the despair of spiritlessness. But what if you do feel that something is profoundly wrong? What if the whispers have become shouts? What if you are achingly aware that this normal life isn't you? This too is a form of despair, according to Kierkegaard. And understanding it is the next step toward breaking free, because now we enter the agony of knowing. For Kierkegaard, the human self is not a simple thing. It's a dynamic synthesis, a tension between the finite and the infinite, the temporal and the eternal, necessity and possibility. And our task, our lifelong challenge, is to relate these aspects to each other, to become a unified, authentic self. Despair arises when this delicate balance is broken, when there's a misrelation in our very being. One form of this conscious despair is the despair of not willing to be oneself. This is the despair of weakness. You are aware you have a self, a unique potential, but you shrink from the task of becoming it. Perhaps you wish you were someone else, richer, more talented, more loved. You get lost in endless possibilities, daydreaming about what could be, instead of grounding yourself in what is. You refuse to accept your concrete reality, your limitations, your specific circumstances as the raw material for your selfhood. This can manifest as a constant chasing of new identities, new experiences, new relationships, always hoping the next thing will finally make you feel whole, always disappointed. Or it can be a quiet resignation, a life lived in the shadow of an idealized self you feel you can never attain. Then there's the other side of the coin, the despair of willing to be oneself, but in defiance. This individual might seem strong, even rebellious. They assert their selfhood, their desires, their plans with vigorous determination. But their self is built on a foundation of pure defiance, a refusal to acknowledge any power greater than their own ego, any grounding beyond their own will. They try to be entirely self-sufficient, the sole author of their existence. Kierkegaard would say this defiant self is still in despair because it's a self that denies its own createdness, its dependence on what he called the power that established it. For him, God. But you can think of it as the ultimate ground of being, the source of life itself. This defiant individual tries to be their own God, and in doing so, they remain profoundly ungrounded. Look around. Do you see these forms of despair in the frantic careerism, the obsession with image and external validation, the rebellious posturing that often lacks true substance? We are surrounded by people desperately trying to escape themselves, or to construct an artificial self, all while feeling an underlying anxiety, a deep disquiet. This is the agony of knowing you have a self, but being unable or unwilling to authentically be that self in a grounded way. So, we have the despair of ignorance and the despair of conscious misrelation. Is there a way out of this labyrinth? Kierkegaard believed there was, but it's not a comfortable solution. It's not a 10-step plan. It requires something far more radical, something that might terrify you. It requires a leap. And that, my friends, is where true transformation begins. If you're still listening, it means a part of you recognizes these patterns of despair. It means you're ready to consider that the usual solutions, more success, more distractions, more self-improvement techniques, might just be rearranging the deck chairs on a sinking ship. Kierkegaard argued that you cannot think your way out of despair. Reason, ethics, societal approval, these are not enough. The sickness lies deeper than that. The cure, if we can call it that, involves what Kierkegaard famously termed the leap of faith. Now, this isn't about blindly accepting religious dogma. It's something far more personal, more existential. It's a passionate, subjective commitment to a truth that cannot be objectively proven. It's choosing to live as if life has ultimate meaning, as if your individual existence matters profoundly, even in the face of absurdity and uncertainty. This leap requires an embrace of subjectivity, of inwardness. It means turning away from the noise of the crowd, the demands of the external world, and courageously confronting your own individual existence in all its terrifying freedom and responsibility. It's about recognizing that the most important truths are not found in textbooks or societal consensus, but in the depths of your own personal conviction. Why is this leap so terrifying? Because it means abandoning all the crutches you've relied on, the approval of others, the illusion of control, the comfort of conformity. It means stepping out of the they and standing alone, as an individual, before what Kierkegaard would call the eternal. It's a radical act of trust in something beyond your own finite understanding, a willingness to embrace paradox and live with unanswered questions. This isn't about achieving a state of perpetual bliss. It's about choosing a path of authentic struggle over a life of comfortable illusion. It's about daring to believe that your unique self has a purpose, a significance that transcends the merely mundane. It's the decision to live from a center of deep, personal truth, even if that truth makes you an outsider. The leap of faith is not a one-time event, but an ongoing orientation, a continuous choosing of the authentic over the inauthentic, the difficult truth over the easy lie. It's the moment you stop asking society for permission to be yourself, and instead start listening to the deepest call of your own being. But what does life look like on the other side of this leap? What does it truly mean to be an authentic self, according to Kierkegaard? To live authentically, in Kierkegaard's view, is to be a self that is consciously and willingly grounded in the power that constituted it. It means living in a right relationship with that ultimate source of your being. This doesn't necessarily mean adhering to a specific religion in a conventional way. It means recognizing that your selfhood is not entirely self-made, that you are part of something larger, something eternal. The authentic self is not a fixed state you achieve and then possess forever. It's a constant becoming, a dynamic process of relating your finite existence to your infinite potential, your temporal life to an eternal significance. It's about living with intention, with passion, with a deep sense of purpose that comes from within, not from external validation. When you make this leap, you begin to experience a profound freedom. Freedom from the despair of the crowd. Freedom from the desperate need for approval. Freedom from the anxiety of trying to be someone you're not. You no longer seek meaning in fleeting achievements or the opinions of others, because you are cultivating a meaning that is rooted in your very essence, in your connection to the eternal. This doesn't mean life becomes easy. In fact, Kierkegaard would argue that an authentic life is often more challenging, because you are no longer numbing yourself to the difficult truths of existence. You will still experience pain, doubt, and suffering. But this suffering is different. It's meaningful. It's the suffering that comes from striving for something real, something true, rather than the hollow ache of an unlived life. There's a paradox here, as there often is with Kierkegaard. You find your true self not by exalting your ego, but by grounding it in something beyond itself. You become most fully an individual when you acknowledge your connection to the universal, the eternal. It's in this surrender to a deeper truth that genuine strength and peace are found. So, we return to the sickness unto death, the despair that Kierkegaard saw lurking beneath the surface of modern life. He showed us that the normal life, the pursuit of conventional happiness, can be the most insidious form of this despair, a spiritless existence that denies our deepest potential. But he also offered a path out, not through easy answers or societal approval, but through a courageous, terrifying, and ultimately liberating leap of faith. This leap is the choice to become an individual, to live authentically, to ground your existence in a truth that resonates from the very core of your being. It begins with the courage to admit that perhaps, just perhaps, the life you've been living is not the life you were meant to live. It starts with recognizing the sickness, so you can finally begin the journey toward true health, true selfhood. The power for this leap resides within you. It is your birthright as a conscious, spiritual being. The question Kierkegaard leaves us with is not, can you make it, but will you? Are you tired of the normal lie? What does the leap of faith mean to you in your own life? Have you felt this sickness unto death, this despair that Kierkegaard so vividly described? Share your thoughts, your struggles, your insights in the comments below. And if this exploration of Kierkegaard's thought has stirred something within you, if it's challenged you to look deeper, then make sure to click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Our journey into the heart of philosophy, into the depths of the human condition, continues. There's so much more to uncover. Thank you for joining us on this path. Remember, questioning everything is the first step towards finding your own truth. Keep watching, keep thinking, and dare to live authentically. The next video on our channel will delve into another philosopher who wrestled with the burden of freedom. You won't want to miss it. See you there.